Fedor Emelianenko has interest in fighting Roy Jones Jr. I don't know how I feel about this one, but let's talk about it.
Push the weight enough flex. Flex the livest one in the six. Fit the runner boy, you nigga, no question. You will run a motherfucker high stepping. Hey, you never had a big enough weapon. Motherfucker never learned your lesson. I'm an 88 pack nigga. I'm an 88 pack nigga. I mean, day walker, drink blood, fangs out, full moon, motherfucker change like a hoe. I'm just a nigga from the hood trying to stack a little cheddar for the money.
Drew Titan Bronx on deck. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. I don't know how I feel about this one. I'm a supporter of both. Man, of course, you know, if you love boxing, you love Roy. If you're familiar with MMA, Fedor Emelianenko was a real deal, man. You call him the last emperor. You could look at a highlight. He's all over YouTube. You know, he's had some losses later on, but at one point he was undefeated. There was a dream match between him back a few years ago, a time ago. They were building up a fight between Fedor and Randy Couture. Fedor Emelianenko is a Russian. Don't believe his physique. The guy can scrap. I'll put his picture up here again. All right. The guy's for real. Don't believe that physique at all. I know he looks like a cab driver, but don't believe that physique at all. I remember he fought Kevin Randleman. God rest his soul. He's since passed. But the famous fight when they had in Pride, Kevin suplexed the nonsense out of him. Real Olympic-style suplex. Slammed Fedor on his head. I honestly believe that would have killed anybody else. But Fedor kept composure, and he eventually won that fight. I don't even know if it hurt him, but he took the drop. But Fedor's the real deal. Very fast hands. That's why I say don't believe his physique. Power in both hands. And of course, now he's talking about he's interested in an exhibition bout against Roy Jones. This seems to be a thing now, crossover sports. You got boxers going to MMA. Shout out to Clarissa Shields, the GOAT. All right, give that woman her roses while she's here. Shout out to her. But she had to go to MMA to stay busy. You know, and then you got boxers going to MMA. Then you got MMA guys coming to boxing. And I mean, look, it seems to be the trend now. But I just don't know how I feel about this. Let's read. Article from Boxing Scene. The link will be in the description. Fedor Emelianenko has interest in exhibition clash with Roy Jones Jr. There you see Roy, Superman right there. Mixed martial arts legend, because he is a legend. Fedor Emelianenko is interested in the idea of holding an exhibition boxing match. So he's going into a boxing ring. All right. That's problematic number one for him, in my opinion. But he does want to do it with a non-athlete. He doesn't want to do it with a non-athlete. He wants to do it with a seasoned boxer, like former 4-division champion Roy Jones Jr. Jones returned to the ring last year and took part in the high-profile exhibition class with former heavyweight champion Mike Tyson. Remember that? In the last few months, Jones expressed his desire to have more exhibition fights, including a clash with another legend, MMA legend, Anderson Silva. Now, let me stop right there for a second. Anderson Silva does have a boxing background. I think he's had a couple of pro fights. He has hands, and he respects the sport, and he knows how to box. So Anderson years ago expressed that he wanted to fight Roy. This was years ago too. Like I'd say about maybe 5 years ago, maybe more than that. But I do recall him saying that he wanted to have an exhibition against Roy Jones. He did say that. So, you know, that was then where we're at right now. Quote, I would be interested. I have already worked with Denis Lebedev. Wow. For those of you that don't know, Denis Lebedev, I believe, is the guy that knocked out Roy Jones, the Russian fellow. knocked out Roy. He said he worked out with Denis Lebedev, with other guys in boxing. I have been boxing myself since 2000. So, yes, it would be interesting to have such a fight, but not with bloggers and singers, not with bloggers and singers, not with people from outside the world of sports. Roy Jones is a legend of the world of boxing. So, of course, it would be interesting to do it with him, Fedor said to Igor Lazorian. Both Jones and Fedor are up in age, but the MMA fighter is not going to look past the abilities of the one-time pound-for-pound king. He has such a track record. He will always be Roy Jones, although he will no longer have that crazy hand speed, Fedor said. Emelianenko is 44 years old. In the world of MMA, he has 39 victories, 6 defeats, with one fight one fight being declared a no contest. Jones is 52. He's 52 years old and retired in 2018. In 2015, the American boxer received Russian citizenship. Okay. Because of his popularity in the country, Jones has fought 4 times on Russian soil in total. He has 66 wins, 47 by knockout, and 9 defeats. Denis Lebedev, I believe, and I haven't researched it after, refreshing my memory. I believe he fought Denis Lebedev in Russia and lost. They had some rumors about the Russians were the one that paid off his. I don't quote me on this. Research it if you care. I think he had some tax issues. He had some Uncle Sam issues, and I heard. I don't know. I don't know if this is true or not, but they maybe put some love in Roy's pocket and paid that off, and he got citizenship. And maybe the trade-off was he'd fight in Russia and sell some seats. Or I don't know. I recall I hit Roy up on WhatsApp. Was it WhatsApp or no? I hit Roy up on Instagram because I was trying to get Roy in the ring with my brother Michael Nunn. Shout out to Michael Nunn, and he responded to me. He said, if Mike is really interested in fighting me, call this number on WhatsApp. And I looked at the name. It was a Russian name. He said, hit him up. That's the guy that handles his business for that particular thing. I said, wow. So I got in touch with Michael Nunn, and I said, look, send this to your people. Call this number. This is the guy that handles Roy's affairs. This is what he told me. And, of course, the fight never happened. He went on to fight Mike Tyson. It was a bigger name, I guess. But Roy did respond. And shout out to Roy, for responding. I was excited when he explained, because I got love for Roy. So he does work with the Russians. Fedor is Russian. He's been working with. He said Denis Lebedev for a reason, because Lebedev beat Roy. Let me make sure that that's correct. Let me make sure that that's correct. I think that's the guy. Denis Lebedev. Gotta spell his name right. Lebedev. There it is. He's a former Russian fighter. His box rec. Yeah. He fought James Toney. Yep. He fought Roy. He knocked out Roy in Moscow. Yep. And then he fought James Toney right after that and beat James in the UD for the WBA interim cruiserweight title. I remember that when James came in, he was in great shape. He was in great shape for that fight. But he fought Roy in 2011, and I remember that. I was so sad when that happened. But yeah. Fedor said that he was fighting. He said Denis Lebedev's name for a reason. So it's hard for me to think that a guy that's only been boxing, like he said, he's been boxing since 2000. I know we're in 2021, so that's 21 years. But he's been in MMA majority of that time. And let me tell you, if you're not familiar with Fedor Emelianenko, Google him. Look him up. Look him up. The guy has bombs in both hands, and he has very good hand speed. But does that transition in a boxing match? There's a difference. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this one. If they can make some money, fine, man. I mean, I'm always up for that. You know, I'm always concerned about the safety of fighters. You know, and Roy's at 52 years old. He's not the same Roy that we grew up watching. But hey, man, anything's possible. But make it happen. If it makes dollars, it makes sense. So I guess you guys can make it happen. So, hey, man, if it happens, it happens. If it don't, it don't. But I'm just bringing you the news as it comes. I don't know. I support both guys, but I don't know. It's whatever, man. Bronx on deck. Move!